Heartwarming reveal, Maid's incredible bond with Millionaire's baby exposes a life-changing truth. In the serene surroundings of Maplewood's manicured lawns, where every house stood as a testament to wealth, Maria felt the weight of her day pressing against her shoulders. At 32, a single mother and immigrant, she scrubbed floors and made beds for the Harrington family. With each polished surface, she dreamed of a better life for little Sophia, her heart heavy with the sacrifices she made. But when she cradled baby Benny each night, an unexpected warmth ignited within her a glimmer of hope amidst her grueling routine. The Harrington home was a castle, a fortress of affluence built on expectations and appearances. The walls echoed with laughter during barbecues, but Maria knew the reality beneath that laughter, where the family struggled to bond over a fussy newborn. Mr. Harrington was often wrapped in his own world, the burdens of financial worries pushing him into isolating silence, while Mrs. Harrington seemed more like a wraith than a mother, lost in her desire to be perfect. Late at night, when the house grew quiet, Maria transformed the struggle of soothing Benny to sleep into moments of solace. She would sing gently, her soft voice weaving through the darkness. As he sighed and snuggled closer, she found a connection, each cuddle stripping away her loneliness, replacing it with the purest form of joy. "You're loved, little one," she whispered, hoping somehow that her care would seep into the walls of the Harringtons' untouched hearts, but as the days stretched on, the shadows deepened. News of Mr. Harrington's crumbling business hung thick in the air, casting tension that gripped the family. They were too caught up in maintaining their image to notice the cracks forming in their happiness. And there was Maria facing her struggles but full of resilience learned from her childhood. She often found herself wanting to extend a helping hand to the family that saw her as just a maid. But every attempt was met with reluctance. They were blind to the strength she embodied. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Just as the Harringtons faced their bleakest hour, Benny fell gravely ill, and in an unexpected turn, the lifeline came from Maria. Rushing to provide comfort and care, she learned their fears and shared her own, creating a bond far deeper than any paycheck could define. The helpless family rallied around her. In the chaos, a flicker of truth began to shine. Maria held the very essence of what it meant to be a family. As icy walls melted, she taught them everything they had overlooked: love, community, and resilience. But as Maria began to feel her worth grow within the family dynamics, so did the struggle within Mr. Harrington. Faced with the reality of Maria's undeniable spark, he found himself questioning everything he believed about status and worth. Just as they teetered on the edge of this emotional breakthrough, Maria's past came crashing through their barriers as she stood at a crossroads facing the choice between her growing connection with the Harringtons and the dreams she held for little Sophia. With life-altering news on the horizon for her daughter, Maria wrestled with what to do next. Will she fight for her rightful place in their world, now that they were finally starting to appreciate her? Or will she retreat back into the shadows, letting her own opportunities slip away? As the weight of choices filled her heart, one thing was clear: the journey was just beginning. Maria stood at the edge of the living room, her heart racing as she watched Mr. Harrington stare blankly at the wall. It was as if he were lost in a storm of thoughts, each wave crashing harder with every passing moment. The flickering light of the table lamp cast shadows across his face, revealing the worry lines that had deepened over the last few weeks. Just behind that facade of power and wealth lay a man spiraling into confusion. "Is everything okay, Mr. Harrington?" she asked gently, breaking the silence. Her voice felt fragile in the heavy atmosphere. He turned to meet her gaze, his eyes mirroring a blend of vulnerability and desperation. "Maria, everything is, well, it's not good. I'm trying to hold this family together." With every word he spoke, Maria felt a familiar pull inside her, a nagging urge to reach out and help him, as she had done for Benny. Yet, the distance set by their roles loomed large. "I think you're doing your best, sir. Sometimes it just takes a little support," she replied, her own wisdom rising to the surface. "Support," he echoed, clearly grappling with the concept as if it were foreign. "I've always thought I needed to be the strong one. But it's getting harder." Maria stepped closer, encouraged by a wave of empathy. She had fought for her own strength so many times. It's okay to lean on others. You don't have to carry it all alone. His expression softened, and for a fleeting moment, it looked as though he might break down right there. But even amid their tension, the worry dragged Maria's thoughts back to Sophia. A letter sat hidden in the pocket of her uniform, a notice from the local school, affirming her daughter's spot in their specialized program. It was a beacon of promise, but it also reminded Maria how fragile her own dreams were. What if I lose my job? She thought instinctively, the familiar fear creeping back at the Harrington's kitchen. She began preparing Benny's bottle, the baby's cooing breaking the emotional rigidity. But her heart was a battlefield, torn between the newfound kinship with the family and the fear of claiming a place in it. As she rocked Benny to sleep again, that warmth she felt was mixed with anxiety. This was more than just a job now, it was a lifeline. But Maria also knew that if she became too entangled, the chance to elevate her own life might slip away. "Do I dare dream of something more?" she whispered to the sleeping baby, the words hanging heavy in the air. The sound of footsteps interrupted her thoughts. Mrs. Harrington appeared in the doorway, her face pale with exhaustion. "Maria, I'm so sorry," she mumbled. "About Benny, I didn't mean to leave you alone with everything." "It's all right," Maria assured, masking her fatigue with a kind smile. But inside, she felt frustration and sorrow mixing, a mother trying to care with a heart devoid of energy. "Maybe we could work together?" Mrs. Harrington suggested tentatively. "I could help you with." The phone rang, slicing through the moment. It was an unknown number, but Maria picked it up, half expecting bad news. Instead, what she heard made her heart leap. "Ms. Vasquez, this is the principal from Maplewood Academy. I'm happy to inform you that your daughter has qualified for the program." She choked on her words as joy surged through her. This could change everything for Sophia. She needed to keep this new flame alive, but where would it fit in the chaos of the Harrington's life? As Maria hung up, certainty settled into her chest, but so did doubt. Was this her moment of breakthrough, or would it force her to choose once again between her dreams and the family that had begun to mean so much? The room spun with possibilities. With the weight of the world resting on her shoulders, Maria took a deep breath, knowing this decision could alter the course of her life and the Harringtons. What comes next? Could they all find a way to move forward together? Maria's heart raced wildly as she hung up the phone. The weight of the decision ahead pressed down on her like a heavy blanket. For a split second, she delighted in the flood of joy. Sophia was going to a school that could open doors. But just as quickly, the reality of her situation crashed down again. "Is everything okay?" Mrs. Harrington's voice broke through her haze. She stepped closer, concern etched across her delicate features. Yes, I just received some good news," Maria managed, forcing a smile despite the storm of emotions swirling inside. "What is it?" Mrs. Harrington asked, her eyes bright with curiosity. "My daughter, Sophia. She's qualified for the program at Maplewood Academy." The words felt magical on her tongue, a feeling she rarely allowed herself since life had become a constant juggling act of responsibilities. Mrs. Harrington's expression shifted from concern to genuine happiness. "That's wonderful, Maria. I know how much you wanted this for her." Maria felt a shift in the room. Instead of the usual strain underlined by duty and obligation, this moment felt lighter. An unspoken understanding was brewing, and she could sense the potential for deeper bonds. But would her triumph be seen as a complication for the Harringtons, or could it bridge the gap between them? "Thank you. I worry about finding a way to make it work, Maria said softly, looking down at Benny sleeping peacefully in her arms. Mrs. Harrington hesitated for a moment, her gaze drifting toward her baby. What if I helped? I could take Benny some days while you attend meetings or orientation. It could be good for both of you, really. A wave of unexpected gratitude washed over Maria. Really? You'd do that? Of course. I'm trying to do better for my family too. It must be so hard for you to juggle it all alone. The words hung in the air, embedding warmth that Maria hadn't noticed was missing. In their vulnerability, perhaps they could find solace together. But deep down, the quiet voice of doubt nagged at her. But at what cost? Just then, the doorbell rang, shattering their moment. The sound reverberated through the house, unsettling and sharp. Mrs. Harrington's brows furrowed. Who could that be this late? Maria felt her heart speed up again, curiosity and worry crashing together like turbulent waves. She placed Benny gently in the crib, a protective instinct rising. I'll get it, Maria said, moving toward the door, uncertainty lingering in the air. When she opened it, her breath caught in her throat. A figure stood there, familiar yet unwelcomed. Laura, she breathed, surprised. Maria's old friend wore a look of mixed determination and apprehension. I know this is unexpected, Maria. Can we talk? The weight of the moment pressed down hard. Laura had always been a friend, someone who understood the struggles, but this crossing of paths awakened memories of promises broken and choices only half completed. Now? Maria glanced back over her shoulder at the Harringtons' chaotic life behind her, momentarily suspended. I need you to hear me out. It's important. The depths of Maria's heart began to churn again. What could Laura possibly want now? Okay, she replied cautiously, curiosity mingling with anxiety. As they stepped into the twilight, Maria felt the unmistakable pull of the past, and the shifting fate of her family and the Harringtons loomed ahead like a foggy horizon. Could this conversation bring clarity or more confusion? Maria could only wonder what revelations lay ahead and whether they would bring healing or further challenge her heart's delicate balance. The night air felt thick with unspoken words as Maria and Laura stood outside the Harringtons' home. Maria's heart hammered in her chest. She could feel a rush of memories clamoring for attention, memories that made her question everything, their friendship, their choices, their paths diverging like streams in a forest. Maria, Laura began, her voice steady but laced with an urgency that pulled Maria in. I know things have been complicated between us. But I really need you to understand something. What is it? Maria's each word came out clipped, like she was guarding her heart behind steel walls. Laura ran a hand nervously through her hair. I've been thinking about our past, about what we used to dream of, about us supporting each other. She paused, searching Maria's eyes for a flicker of understanding. I messed up, and I want to make things right. Make things right how? Maria felt her pulse quicken, not entirely sure what to trust. You just vanished. Waited until I was alone. I know. I was overwhelmed. But I came back because I heard about Sophia. And I wanted to help you. Sophia. The name hung in the air. Maria clenched her fists, the anxiety creeping back in. Help me? How? With what? Please, just hear me out. Laura pushed. I have connections. I've been working in a non-profit organization that helps kids get into private schools. I believe Sophia's story could be powerful. She deserves this chance, and I can help guide her through it. Maria's mind raced at the thought. Could Laura really be offering a bridge back to a dream that felt just out of reach? Yet doubt crept in. Why should I trust you now? Tears glistened in Laura's eyes, and Maria felt a pang of empathy. Because I want to. I want to be part of your family's journey. I want to reconnect. The word struck Maria like a sudden gust of wind, lifting her insides. And what if it goes wrong again? For a long moment, they stood in silence, the weight of unspoken fears lacing the air between them. I believe in the good we can do, Laura finally said, a quiet fierceness in her voice. And I believe in you, Maria. The sincerity of those words caught Maria off guard. She could feel cracks beginning to form in her well-defended heart. But alongside that warmth, fears about the past and what it meant for her future loomed dangerously. Let me think, Maria said, feeling the enormity of the moment. This was her chance, but it could come with burdens she wasn't sure she was ready to carry. Take your time, Laura replied, regret and longing pouring from her eyes. But just know I'm here, however you choose to move forward. As Maria turned back towards the house, she caught a glimpse of Mrs. Harrington watching from the window with a subtle smile, implying a silent support she hadn't anticipated. The chaos of life inside was still loud, and yet something primal flickered within Maria, hope, perhaps, or the shadows of past betrayals edging in closer. While she felt the warmth of old bonds spreading, new forces were stirring, ready to shape her family's future, drawing them toward adventures neither could foresee. Could trusting Laura ignite a spark of change or expose dozens of new complications? Maria whispered to herself. As the weight of decision hung in the air, a question nagged at her heart more than the rest. What if this was the moment that could change her life forever if only she took that chance? Inside the Harrington house, the warmth of the late evening wrapped around Maria like a soft blanket. The familiar sounds of laughter and the clinking of dishes beckoned her back to the chaos she both loved and loathed. She took a deep breath, letting the scent of roasted chicken and fresh bread guide her heartbeat back to some semblance of normalcy. Maria. You're back just in time. Mrs. Harrington called, her voice buoyant as she bustled out of the kitchen. Dinner is almost ready, and I saved your favorite spot at the table. Thanks, Mrs. H., Maria replied, forcing a smile as she settled into the rhythm of family life. Yet in her heart, the pulse of uncertainty thumped louder with every beat. Laura's offer kept surfacing in her thoughts, a lighthouse of hope amidst the fog of doubts. Sophia bounded into the room, bursting with energy. Mama! Look what I drew today. She held up a colorful depiction of their backyard, complete with spiders, a moon, and strangely a rainbow-colored dragon. That's beautiful, sweetheart, Maria said, genuinely impressed as she ruffled Sophia's hair. For a moment, the weight of her burdens lifted. This was why she fought so hard, why she found herself tangled in the complexities of adulthood, her sweet daughter and the dreams they cherished. The ideal life danced tantalizingly close, but the specter of Laura's reappearance cast shadows long and dark. Just as dinner began, Maria felt her phone vibrate. Glancing down, she saw a message from Laura. I can meet you tomorrow at the cafe. Just us. Let us talk more about Sophia. Her heart sank at the prospect. What was she getting herself into? As conversations flowed around the table, Maria caught snippets of the day's events. Yet her mind wandered, lost in contemplation. She couldn't shake the vision of Laura's earnest face, cheeks flushed with sincerity. What if opening up to her meant reconciliation, or worse, more hurt? I heard Mrs. Carter at school is looking to help students with scholarships, Mrs. Harrington chimed in, unknowingly striking Maria like lightning. Sophia could qualify if she applies. It would open doors for her future. Maria's heart stumbled. Could this be the answer? But it dawned on her that it felt wrong to pursue this without talking to Laura first. What was meant to be a simple dinner morphed into a crucible of decisions, potentials blooming and wilting as quickly as her racing thoughts. Everything okay, Mama? Sophia's voice broke through her reverie, bringing her back into focus. Yeah, everything's fine, honey, Maria reassured, though the tremor in her voice betrayed her. She pushed the swirling options aside and immersed herself in Sophia's laughter, sharing stories and smiles. It was moments like these that fueled her spirit to press forward. After dinner, while washing the dishes, Maria thought of Laura again. She understood that it wouldn't just be about Sophia, it would also mean opening her heart again, a place recently mended but still so raw. Trusting someone again was a risk, but not trusting could mean losing even more. Later that night, as she tucked Sophia into bed, the little girl whispered sleepily, "Mama, do you think I'll get to go to a big school? Like the one you always told me about?" Maria brushed a curl away from Sophia's face, her heart aching with both love and fear. "We'll see, sweet pea. We're going to figure it out together, okay?" Sophia nodded, her eyes fluttering closed. Maria lingered a moment longer, feeling the weight of the promise she had made. With the moonlight seeping through the curtains, Maria stood alone in the darkness of their home, facing a choice that felt monumental. This was more than about Sophia's future. This was about her own, too. Tomorrow would hold a conversation that could either mend or break, but she knew deep down that the only way forward was through it. Could she truly let go of the past and embrace a future filled with possibility, guided by the very person who had left her in the dark before? The dawn of that decision was rapidly approaching, and anticipation buzzed in the air. Was she prepared to fight for the change that beckoned her? The morning sunlight streamed through the curtains, bathing Maria's small kitchen in a golden glow. The aroma of brewing coffee filled the air, its warmth slightly easing the tight knot of anxiety in her stomach. Today was important. Today could change everything. She took a sip, letting the bitter warmth wash over her, and tried to steady her racing heart. Sophia scampered into the room, her hair a wild halo of curls. "Mama, can we go to the park after school?" she asked, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "Sure, sweetheart," Maria replied, ruffling her hair affectionately. "But remember, Mama has to meet someone first." The little girl tilted her head, a serious expression crossing her face. "Is it Laura?" The name hung heavy in the air, a marker of the uncertainty that loomed over them both. "Yes, it is," Maria said cautiously. Just saying the name sent a jolt through her. She had rehearsed this moment in her mind countless times, but now that it was real, the thought of facing Laura made her stomach churn. After dropping Sophia off at school, Maria headed to the cafe, each step echoing the pounding of her heart. The place was buzzing with life, a stark contrast to the tempest of emotions brewing inside her. She spotted Laura at a corner table, a woman transformed but still so familiar. Laura's hair fell in soft waves around her shoulders, and she focused intensely on the steaming mug in front of her, as if seeking comfort in its warmth. "Hi." Maria's voice was barely above a whisper as she approached. "Hi there." Laura looked up, a smile breaking across her face, though there was a hint of nervousness in her eyes. They both sat down, an unspoken tension flickering between them like an electric current. "I appreciate you meeting me," Maria started, forcing herself to speak, the words clogging her throat. I know this isn't easy. I just want to talk." Laura's tone was steady, but Maria could see the storm of emotions brewing just beneath the surface. Minutes passed. They exchanged small talk, the weather, their favorite coffee drinks, but the real conversation loomed, a shadow that stretched longer with each passing moment. "Maria, I need to be honest with you," Laura said suddenly, her voice lowering. "I've been thinking about how to approach this for a while." Maria held her breath as Laura continued. "I want to be a part of Sophia's life. I know I messed up before, but I've changed. I know how important she is to you." The words hit Maria like a spring storm, whipping her thoughts into a frenzy. "You left us once. How can I know you want to do it again?" "I can't change the past," Laura responded, her eyes earnest and pleading. "But I've been working on myself. I've got a stable job and a place. I want to be there for both of you." Maria's heart raced. This wasn't just about Laura's intentions, it was about trust, a fragile thread that had been severed before. Could she allow hope to flourish again in a place where it had once been choked by pain? The image of Sophia flashed through her mind, a brilliant light that demanded her attention. What if I allow you this chance? What does that mean for us?" "It means everything." Laura leaned forward, urgency flooding her voice. I want to support you both, to be a family if you'll let me. The weight of those words settled in the air, heavy and meaningful. Maria felt her heartbeat quickening. This moment felt monumental, rippling through time as old wounds met the possibility of new beginnings. Just then, the cafe door swung open, letting in a gust of fresh air and a figure who caught Maria's eye. It was Mrs. Harrington, her worried gaze scanning the room until it landed on Maria. Maria! She called, rushing over, her cheeks flushed. I was looking for you. There's been news about the scholarship. Maria's stomach dropped as her mind reeled, torn between Laura's declaration and the unexpected arrival of Mrs. Harrington. What now? The moment of truth was unraveling, and she felt unprepared for the converging paths before her. Let us hear it, Laura said, her expression a mixture of curiosity and concern. While Maria faced the woman she had once called a friend, her life hanging delicately in the balance, even as Maria took a steadying breath for whatever news was about to unfurl, a new question echoed in her mind. Could she truly forge ahead while still carrying so much pain? The conversation was just beginning, and the stakes were higher than ever. How would she face the truth when the future seemed to dance just out of reach? Maria! Mrs. Harrington exclaimed, her voice cutting through the tension that draped the cafe like a thick blanket. I've been looking for you. Maria's heart raced, but this time it wasn't just from anxiety over Laura. What is going on? She asked, the urgency in Mrs. Harrington's face gripping her by the throat. There's a chance the scholarship committee reviewed your application, Mrs. Harrington said, her eyes bright with excitement. They want to offer you an interview. Maria blinked, her mind racing to process the words. An interview? It felt surreal, like reaching for something barely within her grasp. All her dreams of a better future for Sophia, a life that included possibilities beyond their small apartment, raced through her mind. But then a knot formed in her stomach. What if everything fell apart again? Isn't that amazing? Mrs. Harrington continued, oblivious to Maria's inner turmoil. This could change your life. For you and Sophia. Yes, it could, Maria replied, her voice steady on the surface but swirling with doubt underneath. Her gaze involuntarily shifted back to Laura. The warmth of hope was beginning to collide with the recurring echoes of her past. Laura leaned back in her chair, her expression unreadable. What's the scholarship for? She asked, her tone cautious as she picked up on Maria's shift in energy. It's for a community college, Maria explained, feeling a swell of emotion. I've always wanted to study early childhood education, become a teacher. Sophia deserves the best. That's incredible, Maria, Laura said, her sincerity cutting through the uncertainty. You would be a great teacher. Yeah, if I get the chance, Maria replied, her voice faltering slightly. But how can I focus on that when everything feels so fragile? Just then, Mrs. Harrington clapped her hands together, pulling them both back from deep thoughts. You can't look at it that way. You have to think about the opportunity instead of the fear. You can do this. You've worked so hard. As the words flowed, Maria felt a mix of something similar to hope along with unbridled anxiety. It was a complex tapestry of ambition woven tight with past wounds. But then she looked at Laura, truly looked at her, and that old thread of connection ignited. If you want to be a part of Sophia's life, Maria said, her voice firm, then you'll need to prove you deserve a place here. I want to put my trust in you, but I need time. I can't just drop everything because you say you've changed. I understand, Laura replied, her eyes reflecting both relief and acknowledgement. I'm willing to wait. I want to show you that I'm not the same person I was. The promise lingered in the air, sweet and uncertain. Maria swallowed hard, grappling with the endless loops of worry and dread, mixed with the glimmer of possibility of both the scholarship and Laura's return. Today is just the beginning, right? She said, more to herself than anyone else. It felt like standing on a tightrope, balancing her fears with the faint glimmer of change. Mrs. Harrington nodded. Yes. And I'll help you prepare for the interview. We'll make a plan together. Maria smiled at the thought, feeling a flicker of excitement. This was a moment she had been waiting for, a chance to claim her future. But as the conversation wound on, her gaze couldn't help but drift back towards Laura, pondering how everything would intertwine. Just know, Laura said softly, drawing Maria's attention back, I'm all in this time, too. I want to prove that family means something worth fighting for. A wave of vulnerability washed over Maria. Could she believe those words this time? As they sat in the cafe, caught between pasts and futures, one thought echoed in Maria's mind. What if she let herself hope again? But just then, Sophia's laughter rang in her ears as she envisioned her daughter bounding into their small apartment, a radiant force of innocence. Could she protect that light while navigating the changes ahead? The path ahead felt treacherous but beautiful as possibilities unfolded. Maria was left wondering, in that crucial moment, what sacrifices she would need to make for love, trust, and a hopeful future. Would she risk everything again for a chance at happiness, even when the past still whispered caution in her ear? Maria sat at the cafe, the scent of coffee mingling with the sweet hint of baked pastries, yet she found little comfort in the familiar surroundings. Her heart beat like a drum in her chest, loud and restless. The interview felt like a blazing torch in the dark, illuminating a path she hadn't dared to tread before. But even as hope surged within her, the shadows of doubt loomed close. So, when's the interview? Laura asked, her voice breaking into Maria's thoughts, pulling her back into the present. I don't know yet. They just said they would contact me, Maria replied, trying to keep her tone light. The truth weighed heavier on her than she let on. This moment could define everything. Mrs. Harrington leaned forward, her enthusiasm palpable. I want to help you with your interview prep. What do you need to focus on? Any specific concerns? Maria hesitated. So many concerns spun like a carousel in her mind: how to answer tricky questions, how to portray herself as both mother and ambitious student, but one question felt especially poignant. What if they don't think I'm good enough? They will, Laura interjected, surprising both Maria and herself. You are more than good enough. You have a fire in you that they see. Maria looked at Laura, searching for honesty in her eyes. Promise you're not just saying that? I promise, Laura replied, sincere and steady. Maria felt a flicker of warmth spread through her heart. They had shared so much pain, but the opportunity to redefine their relationship felt like standing before a brand new door, one she could not quite fully open. Just then, the cafe door swung open, gusting in a chill as a group of lively patrons poured in, laughing and chatting loudly. Reality hit her hard. Life continued buzzing around her as her personal world felt perilously still. Knowing she needed to ground herself, Maria pushed the doubts aside. Let's talk about what I need to prepare, she said, focusing on the task at hand. Mrs. Harrington nodded. First, your passion for teaching. You need to convey why early childhood education matters so much to you. Maria nodded thoughtfully. I've seen how important it is for kids to have strong foundations. I want to give that to them just like I want to give it to Sophia. What about some personal insights? Mrs. Harrington suggested. Share your story. The committee loves when you make it personal. I can do that, Maria said slowly. As she spoke, snippets of her life flickered through her mind: long nights juggling deadlines, the joy in Sophia's laughter, the pain of helplessness when she faced alone the doubts that were served to her daily. Look, I know the past can be heavy, Laura said softly, as if reading Maria's thoughts. But you've come so far. Think about how much Sophia looks up to you. At the mention of her daughter, a swell of determination rose again. Sophia was the anchor she clung to through life's storms, and Maria couldn't let her down. With a smile breaking through Maria's earlier trepidation, she leaned into the moment. Okay, let us write down some points, then. As they started brainstorming, excitement began to build in Maria's chest. The prospect of the interview now wasn't just about the scholarship, it was about carving out a new life for Sophia, showing her daughter that dreams could lead to reality. Minutes turned into an hour, filled with laughter, notes, and a few nervous glances. But with each word spoken, Maria felt the weight of her past lesson. It was a new beginning, not just for her, but for Laura too. "Hey, Maria," Laura called, her tone playful. "What's your ultimate teaching goal?" Maria paused, her heart swelling with the urgency of her answer. "To teach them to believe in themselves. I want them to know they can overcome anything." The laughter faded, leaving a moment of stillness between them. The connection deepened as the shadows of doubt swirled away. But just as the conversation steered toward hope, Maria's phone chimed, a notification flashing across the screen. She glanced down, her heart catching in her throat as she read the sender. It was a message from the scholarship committee. With a nervous energy crackling in the air, she opened the message, unaware that the words within would change everything. But what she didn't expect was for this to be a moment of both hope and terror, forcing her to confront everything she ever believed about herself and her future. Maria's breath caught in her throat as she read the message. It was brief, yet it felt like a tidal wave crashing over her senses. "Congratulations, Maria. We would like to invite you for an interview." Her heart raced, thudding against her ribs, a blend of excitement and fear swirling inside her. Before she knew it, she had read the line over and over, her mind trying to reconcile the news with her insecurities. "Did you get it?" Laura's voice broke through Maria's fog. With shaking hands, Maria held out her phone for Laura to see. The weight of the words hung in the air, heavy yet exhilarating. I got an interview." Laura squealed, pulling Maria into a tight hug. "Oh my gosh. This is amazing. You're one step closer." But underneath the joy, Maria felt the familiar shadows of doubt sneak back in. What if they didn't like her? What if she stumbled over her words? Would they see how truly unworthy she felt at this moment? As the initial thrill settled, Mrs. Harrington clapped her hands together, her excitement contagious. "Now we need to get you prepped. Let us focus on what you want to convey during the interview. You need to grab their attention right away." "Right, okay." Maria tried to shake off her apprehension. "First, I need to talk about why this matters to me." "Exactly. And the power of personal stories," Mrs. Harrington encouraged. Maria blinked, her mind racing. "I want to tell them about how important every child's early years are because of my own experiences. I've seen children struggle because they weren't given a strong start." She winced, considering her own childhood. Those memories of discomfort crept back, but she pressed on. "It's not just about education. It's about hope and learning how to believe in themselves, like I want for Sophia." "Perfect." Laura beamed. "You have to show them your passion. Let them see this job isn't just a paycheck. It's your dream." With every spoken thought, the weight of the interview felt less like a burden and more like a promise, a chance to make something truly meaningful happen in her life and Sophia's. As they fleshed out her ideas, Maria felt a flicker of excitement glowing brighter inside of her. She was no longer just a worried mother trying to scrape by, she was a woman on a mission, but then, the lingering fear reared its head again. What if I can't handle the pressure? What if I freeze? "Maria," Laura said firmly, "you've faced everything life has thrown at you. You're strong. You're resilient. And you have this fire that they are going to see." As that truth settled in, Maria took a deep breath, letting the warmth of determination wrap around her like a shield. This was her time. Even if it felt daunting, she had a vision worth fighting for. "Let us practice some questions," Mrs. Harrington suggested, her voice encouraging. And so they did. Each answer Maria crafted felt like it chipped away at the doubts that threatened to consume her. With every response, she transformed the fear into strength, pouring her heart into her words. Time flew by, and as they wrapped up the session, Maria felt a rush of gratitude for her friends, the support entering her heart like sunlight on a gloomy day. But just as she began to feel secure, her phone buzzed again, another message blinking into existence. Her stomach flipped. Holding onto her breath, she looked. The scholarship committee had sent an attachment, a video link for a meet and greet with the interview panel before the official interview scheduled for tomorrow. Her heart plummeted as a wave of panic washed over her. What if it was all too fast? What if she wasn't ready? "We need to get you prepared for this," Mrs. Harrington said, picking up on Maria's dismay. Maria nodded, her resolve wavering, but she couldn't let herself drown in the tide of fear. Because beneath the anxiety, she felt the urge to stand tall for Sophia. "Okay," she said with newfound strength. "Let us do this. I want to show them who I am." But as the thought settled in, a deeper question began to claw at her heart: who exactly was she? With this weight looming, she had no idea how the next day would unfold, but the notion of facing herself was just as daunting as the interview itself. In the quiet as they prepared, one emblematic question lingered: would she finally discover the woman she was meant to be? The sun rose high over Maplewood, casting a warm golden glow as Maria prepared for the day that could change everything. Today, she wouldn't just be a maid, she would step into the role of an advocate for her dreams. Her heart thrummed with nervous energy, yet determination pulsed stronger. She looked over at Sophia, who slept peacefully, blissfully unaware of the monumental potential waiting for them both. After dropping her daughter at school, Maria drove to the cafe, her mind swirling with questions. What would she say in the meet and greet? How could she convey her passion and experiences meaningfully? As she entered the cafe, the familiar aroma of fresh pastries filled her lungs, a comforting embrace amidst her nerves. Mrs. Harrington waved from the corner table, her excitement evident. "Maria, you're ready for this." With a nod, Maria joined her, squeezing her hands around a warm mug of coffee. "I want to make this count." "This is for Sophia," she whispered, her heart pounding heavily in her chest. Just then, Laura walked in, smiling brightly. "Ready?" Laura asked, her tone both light and sincere. "Let us do this," Maria replied, taking a steadying breath. The three of them gathered around the table, preparing for the video meeting. As the panel's faces filled the screen, Maria's pulse quickened. The room felt small, the weight of expectations loomed larger than life. "Welcome, Maria," one of the interviewers greeted her. "We're thrilled to get to know you." As they began the conversation, Maria found her voice amidst the noise of doubt. She shared her journey, the hard-earned lessons of resilience, and the love that fueled her ambitions. Each word poured from her heart, and with every answer, a common thread of hope wove between her and the panel. She recounted the moments spent with Benny, the connection that blossomed as she soothed him with lullabies. "You have a gift, Maria," one interviewer noted, their eyes filled with warmth. Tears pricked at the corners of Maria's eyes, the validation washing over her. For once, she felt seen beyond her work, beyond her role as a maid, beyond her struggles. When the final question came, Maria harnessed every ounce of strength within her. "What is your ultimate goal in teaching?" "Simple," she replied with a radiant smile. "To empower children. I want them to know they can overcome anything life throws at them, just as I have fought for my daughter." As the meeting concluded, a wave of relief washed over her. Nobody could take this moment away from her. Sitting in the cafe, she felt a renewed sense of self. "Thank you for the chance to share," she said softly, leaving the panel with her heart laid bare. As she exited the cafe, the sun warmed her skin, and the world felt impossibly bright. "You did it!" Laura cheered. "That was phenomenal. You were so powerful." But amidst the celebration, Maria's phone buzzed again. Anxiety threatened as she opened the message. A follow-up from the scholarship committee, congratulations. We would like to formally offer you the scholarship based on the merits of your interview. She gasped, the weight of the world lifting. This was the moment she had waited for, the opportunity she had imagined for herself and Sophia real and tangible. I got it. She squealed, pulling Laura and Mrs. Harrington into a tight embrace, tears streaming down her cheeks. The moment settled like a warm hug around them. This wasn't just change for Maria, it was new beginnings for Sophia, too. They began discussing plans for school, budgeting for supplies, even how Maria could volunteer as part of her future teaching program. As they shared ideas, a familiar warmth bloomed inside Maria, a sense of belonging and purpose. The world felt more expansive now, possibilities stretching out like a colorful tapestry. Yet even amidst so much joy, the memory of her past lingered, but it no longer weighed her down. Instead, it fortified her with lessons learned. She now knew the value of vulnerability, of trust, and how to build bridges where she had once faced walls. Later that night, after a celebratory dinner with Sophia, Maria sat down to reflect. The warmth of her daughter's laugh echoed through her mind. She realized how their lives had intertwined with the Harrington family, the shared struggles drawing them closer. It was a true reminder of the strength united in love, not just as a maid and an employer but as a small, cohesive family, battling life's uncertainties together. Tomorrow is a new day, she whispered to herself, determination thrumming in her veins. And everything starts now. With the dawn of tomorrow bringing new possibilities, Maria felt empowered, ready to embrace the challenges ahead. This moment was not just an ending, it was the beginning of something beautiful for her, for Sophia, and for the Harringtons, too. In that realization, she found peace and understanding that families form in unexpected ways, molded through compassion and genuine connection, and so, as the sun dipped beyond the horizon, Maria nestled into bed, the weight of the day gently lifting. She knew what happiness felt like, not just in whispers, but in a shout of triumph. This was her moment. Now, you need to subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Hit that like button now to feed the algorithm and help share Maria's amazing journey. Comment below your thoughts about the ending. Did it resonate with you? And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Your support means everything.